In continuing our engagement and conversation about rentals in Kampala and the obnoxious prices they get priced at versus the return they give, today I came into this advert. As you can see it, these are three rental units in Chanja, each making around 700,000. There are three units, so you get around 2.1 million, and they are selling them for 270 million, right? So this is how they look like. If I'm to make it bigger, but it's not clear, it's not better there, but at least you can see how they look. And someone is selling them for 270 million. The question becomes, by what you know now, does that even make sense to buy the rentals that are going to give you 2.1 million gross without the first assessment of whether they are penalties the tenants are paying in time, whether you have people who are not staying in months where you don't have it? Does it make sense? We go back to an assessment of the pricing, come back to the discounted cash flows. Like I've said, this is something that you're going to be seeing more and more often in our assessment. This time round, it's someone is selling them for 270, right? So at 270, they make just 700, and there are three apartments. So that means at least in a year they make 25 million. I'm going to take away this column for the tax such that we kind of work it out backwards. So no element of tax, no nothing, but just to make sure we kind of understand that. And let's assume at the end of the year of selling it off, let's say if you had hold them for 10 years, let's assume you can get back a 350 from them, or even 400 million, because you're going to value even the land element of that. What that means is that every single year you are making, and if you're going to allocate 10% of them to repairs, to everything that we need to do, why it's that important, why you should always budget when you are dealing with rentals, houses, and Mizigos, you should always at any point budget for something to do with repairs, other costs that will come with that, because you're always going to spend some money. They're going to take back some money into them at any one point. As you can see them right now, much better clearer here. As you can see them, you're going to do some repairs. As you can see, the surface might need to be repaired. As you can see, the repairs at the top, so you have to budget for that. So when you're paying 270 million to earn 2.1 million every single month, it means some of that money is going to bow back. Even security, you're providing security for the people who are going to stay there. Even if it's you who's going to stay there, does this make an investment element? Going back to our discounted cash flows. So, coming back to this, which means at 25 million a year, even if you grow into the income every single year by 3 to 4% based off inflation, it means your net income is around 22 million. And for 10 years, you're going to make actually you're going to make the money in 10 years. It's not enough to get back the money you have invested in at the beginning. As you can see, in the 9-year period, if you're going to just do the net investments, you're going to make just 230 million, yet you invested 270 million. That even if in 10 years you sell them for 400 million, with this being, let's say, 10 million, you're just going to make a total profit of 350 million, because this minus the investment you have made is 350 million, you know, and your net return is around 8 to 9% over the different periods of time, based off based off the net outflows. So you are investing 270 million to just make 22 million in a year. That even if someone just invests in a unit trust, if they take their money into a UAP, into Sanlam, into Zeno, into ICEA, Britam, Cornerstone, Stanbic Unit Trust, all of them, and they can guarantee you an 11%, you are way, way much better, right? Even if someone goes, and we're going to look at it here, even if someone is to come here for this and they are to put that money, 270, and they are to get 11.5% what unit trusts are always give every single year. Even if you withdraw that money, I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that. And at the end of the year, they get back their 270 million. It means they are way much better. In the first year for them, actually, there is no withholding tax on on the unit trust. See, there is no withholding tax on the unit trust. That means someone is making 31 million in a unit trust compared to you who is making 22 million. They are making 10 million much more than you putting money in land. And the people who tend to buy these kinds of properties are the Basamas who hustle so much for their money. Why would you put your money in a rental that is going to just give you 8% return as you look at it? It's not like it's going to be one of those things that you look at and be like, wow. No. But the way they are pricing it up is extremely not interesting. So someone who puts their money in that exact amount of money in a unit trust to give them 11%, they are making more money. But what happens if they are to put it in a treasury bond, you know, that gives them 14%, which brings me to this Excel, you know. So if someone gets this 270 million and they are to put it in an Excel, of course they're going to be getting, let me take this away before it confuses us. They're going to be making around 38 million, almost double what you make, almost double what you're going to make in a unit trust. That even if they are to withdraw, just because for you getting 25, 22 million, even if they are to withdraw that 22 million off you and they also spend it, right? Their money and they invest the rest of the it, their money is going to be growing. So in 10 years, 2034, they're going to have a total portfolio of around 700 million, while for you, you are stuck with your property that potentially at that point you can't even sell it for more than 400 million. Do you see the difference in these products? Even if someone is factoring in land appreciation is not the same when land is empty versus when land is has a property on it. Of course, someone who is buying land, they're trying to be like, am I paying for the property? Or am I paying for the land? And especially in 10 years, when you're buying such small properties, what value can they bring in? But your bond will go. And if someone continues to do that, even if they do it for, let's what, up to 2040, which is 15 years, their portfolio just from 270, and every single month they are withdrawing close to 1.5 million to spend off it. It means every by the end by in 15 years they will have over a billion in treasury bonds. A billion in treasury bonds. The question becomes, how much do you think this property will be in 15 years? You are putting 270 million to give you 2 million per month with all the hassles that come with land, with managing an apartment. How much do you think this is going to be? I've shown you from a cash flow perspective, cash flows alone, that someone who goes and gets the same property, gets the same money, actually they can get what 270, you can even get a bond of 290. You know, let's actually look at it. You know, here, if someone is to buy a treasury bond of using 270 million right now, they would get a bond of 295 because they are at discount, and every single year they're going to be getting close to 39 million, actually 40 million after tax before compounding. 40 million, you know, 40 million from 270. So for you, when you're getting your 20 million before you pay off tax, for them they are going to get 40 million after they have paid off tax and no other cost they're going to incur. So then, which brings me back to this, you know, at that point, even if you are getting just taking out some of the money and investing the rest, you are way much better, you know. So the fact that people are willing to settle for these apartments the way they look like this and paying 270 million while getting a return of 9%, 8%, which is almost 2% over and above the inflation rate, yet you can get a better return in a unity trust at 11.5%, get a better return of 14, 15% in a treasury bond for the same product over a similar period of time. That is where you have to make the money. Before you sink in your money into some of these products, you have two options: negotiate downwards, negotiate that property downwards based off its revenue, or put your money somewhere else. Do not just follow the prey. We have said it before. Some of the pricing of these apartments, and it may not be even a fault of the developers. The corruption into the land deals is making it expensive that they are no longer making money. And now we are trying to tell our people there are better products. The brokerage services that is unregulated is inflating every single price of every price point, that is making it hard for people to make money off these kind of deals, which brings it to a better position to you to invest in other products. Thank you.